Unfortunately, PFF's Black Friday sale is no longer going on, but we have a brand new discount to give you guys right now. That is a 30% off discount this holiday season with the promo code HOLIDAY30 to get 30% off a PFF Plus subscription. You get access to our player prop tool that can help you make back whatever you pay for PFF Plus and then some. It can also help you win a fantasy football championship this year. You get the same grades and analytics that every single NFL team uses and every single college football team uses as well. And you get access to the best mock draft simulator on the planet for the 2026 NFL Draft. Again, Holiday 30 to get 30% off a PFF Plus subscription right now. Number 4, Texas Tech beating, and I mean beating, number 11 BYU 34-7 in the Big 12 championship game. Texas Tech's first ever Big 12 title since joining the conference in 1996. Let's go over the highest graded players, starting off with the Red Raiders. The highest graded player, of course, Ben Roberts. What a day for the linebacker. 94.8 grade with 2 just outrageous interceptions in this one. Edge rusher David Bailey, 85.9. Offensive tackle Howard Sampson, 80.5. Safety John Curry, 78.5. Linebacker Jacob Rodriguez, the best linebacker in college football, the Butkus Award winner, 75.6. And Baron Morton with a 56.1 grade in the win. Now for BYU in the loss, their highest grade players: Terrion Alexander III, the corner, 74.5. Safety Tanner Wall, 73.9. Corner Evan Johnson, 72.8. Running back LJ Martin, 70.1. Offensive guard Kyle Svracek, 68.5. And Bear Bachmeier, 50.6. Dalton, what told the story and what was once again a blowout victory for BYU, for Texas Tech?
So BYU came out first drive, ball control was eight or 9 minutes, and they had a really good drive. They found a way to manufacture offense against this Texas Tech defense, which is just so darn good. And after that, it was just lights out. And I think, to me, coming into this game, if BYU was going to have any chance to score more consistently than on that one drive, they needed to take some chances, especially in the passing game. Let Bear Bachmeier cut it loose, and whatever happens. To me, they waited way too long. Bear Bachmeier, his average depth of target in this game, 2.9 yards. They were just not going to win this football game with this conservative a plan on offense. And they only went into halftime down 13-7. You had a shot, but it just took way too long to start taking chances. 2.12 second average time to throw. What does that tell you? They don't believe they can pass protect against Texas Tech. Now, you probably can't for very long, but there just wasn't a whole lot of rollout. There wasn't, just early in the game, it felt like, once again, like the first game, they were trying to protect Bachmeier, right? 45.5 passing grade. So all three of those numbers, the average depth of target, the average time to throw, and the passing grade, lowest of Bachmeier's season. 2 for 7 for 31 yards on 10-plus yard throws. Only 2 of those 7 passes, 10-plus yards from the line of scrimmage, were attempted within the first 38 minutes of this game. They were not going to line up and physically beat Texas Tech up front with the run game like they've done for most of these games this season. They had to loosen them up, even if balls fell incomplete, right? Just chuck up a go ball, do anything, give Chase Roberts a chance, give Parker Kingston a chance. They just never did that. And it felt like BYU, after the first drive, put together a great first scripted drive. They had no answers. And I think a big part of this was that they were just too afraid. And I get it. It's tough to make Bachmeier hold the football against that defensive line, but they were too afraid to just let him cut it loose until the game was already in hand, and then he cut it loose. And then obviously there was a couple interceptions, but there just never seemed to be a willingness to throw the ball downfield and really threaten this secondary. Maybe you can, maybe you can't do it, but you have to at least try. And I felt like for the first 3 quarters of this game, while it was still in hand, BYU came out with the same exact plan of trying to hide their passing game and hide Bachmeier from this defense as they did in the first game, and that's now why they've lost these 2 games that combined 60-14.
Yeah, BYU's offense in the second half I want to talk about more, because BYU went into halftime only down 13-7, and they were outscored 21-0 in the second half. And honestly, Texas Tech's offense wasn't even that great in the second half. It's just BYU's collapsed offensively. 4 turnovers for BYU, all in the second half of this game. 86 total yards in the second half, 3 yards per play for the Cougars in the second half, with negative .922 EPA per play and a 52.2 offensive grade. Bear Bachmeier, only a 36.1 passing grade. Didn't help either that BYU had a 32.1 pass blocking grade too. Texas Tech showed in the second half of this game, really all game, why they might have the best defense in college football right now. Just a dominant all-around performance by the Red Raiders in pass rushing, in coverage, in run defense. It has been an incredible defense all year. I might argue right now it's the best defense in the country, and they once again dominated BYU in the trenches of this game.
No, absolutely. I mean, this Texas Tech just proved they are far and away the best team in the Big 12. This defense, they can play with anybody. They can play with absolutely. If they played Indiana or Ohio State or Georgia tomorrow, they could absolutely stay in a game with this defense. I think the question moving forward for Texas Tech is just going to be the consistency of their passing game, but otherwise they got two great backs in Cameron Dickey and Jacoby Williams that ran the ball well in this game. Their defense is three-layered. They got monsters up front. They got two monster linebackers. They got a really good secondary that's one of the most improved units in the country from last season. And the luxury that they have of just, and you saw it in this game, of they don't have to blitz. They just don't have to blitz with David Bailey and Romello Height in this front four, and they can sit back in too high, and they're going to make you make just intermediate throws all day long, and these linebackers are flying all over the place to cut them off like we saw with Ben Roberts and we've seen with Jacob Rodriguez all year. This defense is a real problem, and they can beat anybody in the country.
Let's go over to the Texas Tech offense really quickly because they also were really good in the trenches of this game too.
No, absolutely. Their offensive line had one of their best performances of the season, actually a 78.4 PFF grade as a unit. Their highest graded game of the season. You look at Jacob Ponton, you look at Howard Sampson on the left side, you look at this entire unit, just outstanding. 88.3 pass blocking grade, just 6 pressures and 1 sack charged to them the entire day. BYU tried to blitz, they tried to disturb Baron Morton, but they just couldn't do it consistently enough. And then a solid 72.7 run blocking grade, especially off that left side. They were really good all game in this one. And they've got a variety of concepts they can go to in the run game. They're an inside zone team, but they can also run some counter. They can run some power. They can get creative up there with both backs, and both backs, Williams and Dickey, were running really well. Terrence Carter's a big help as a run blocker too. So I think in the trenches, they dominated both sides of the ball. We talk about their defensive line so much, but Texas Tech's offensive line was really good in this game, and they continue to get better. Their 2 best pass blocking grades this season as a unit are in their last 2 games. So they're getting better as the season's going on. In the trenches on both sides, this team can play with anybody. They are a threat to win a national title.
Absolutely. Yeah, they've been so good in the trenches all year. Defensive line, of course, which has been the best defensive line all year, but also the offensive line has played great all year too. I want to shout out a linebacker from Texas Tech, and not Jacob Rodriguez, who has been the best linebacker in college football. I'd argue right now should be a Heisman finalist right now. I'm going to shout out his teammate, though, Ben Roberts, because he was the superstar linebacker for Texas Tech in this one. A 96 coverage grade for him with, like I said before, 2 just absolutely ridiculous interceptions. One of them where he jumped up in the air and tipped it to himself of a bullet from Bear Bachmeier. Another one where he dropped into zone coverage, made a one-handed interception too. He also had a run defense stop in this game. The redshirt junior was an absolute stud for Texas Tech in this one, and he will be, unless he declares for the draft, which I don't think he will, but he should be one of the leaders of this Texas Tech defense next year with Jacob Rodriguez moving on to the NFL after this year.
I mean, just unbelievable stuff from him. I'm digging back through now. It's obviously the highest graded game of his career. Think about it like this. I don't believe he has another game in his career with an 80 grade. He's a 3-year starter, and this was the first time he's ever even gotten an 80 grade, and he was the highest graded player in college football this week. The 2 interceptions, like you mentioned, the plays and cover, just unreal. It just shows you how loaded this defense is, that a guy like Roberts steps up and plays the game of his life and really put this game away in the second half. Unbelievable stuff from him. Unbelievable stuff from Rodriguez all year. This defense all year. Just a fantastic performance on the biggest stage.
Definitely. Yeah, big win for Texas Tech over BYU. This is the final BYU video we do this year. I want to thank the BYU faithful for watching us all year because they have been incredibly generous to our show. We obviously will be covering a lot more Texas Tech on this show too. But if this is the final BYU games, I don't think they'll get into the playoff, although we'll get to my bracket later on in the show. We actually have a comment, Dalton, from Bernie in the chat saying, "You idiots still have BYU in." We'll find out later in the show. Find out later, Bernie. I'll tell you that right now.
It's been a strange process, as it always is with this committee.
Stay tuned. Stay tuned. We'll make some arguments for potentially BYU again. We'll see later on in the show. But if this is the final video, though, I want to thank you guys. Maybe we will cover the bowl game. Maybe. We'll see what happens in the bowl season. But, yeah, they've been great to us all year. And Texas Tech, once again, dominating BYU, winning the Big 12. And Texas Tech will get a first-round bye in playoff with the win, too. All right.